All right. Hey, good morning, Catalyst folk. How are you? Come on in, have a seat. We're going to get things started here. I'd tell Marvin to be quiet, but he's my boss, so keep talking, Marvin. You're fine. Well, good morning, guys and gals. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. My name is John Torres. I work with City Ministry Network. I'm the director of the Latino Leadership Initiative, which we'll talk about later. But it's good to have you. We are gathered here today. The purpose of Catalyst is this is a place for community conversation, right? We have different ideas and different views, but this is a safe place to have great conversation, to learn from one another, and encourage one another. So please make sure we do that with each other. We're a diverse group of people, right, that have different perspectives, but to be able to have those conversations at your tables is just an amazing thing. Our hope is that you will connect with each other and share your vision and your ideas and your thoughts, and that you'll begin to build trust with each other and then also work together to impact our community, which you guys have already done, and we're super excited. So if you're here and you are a social media guru, I am not. I don't even know what Twitter's called now. I think it's like W or something like that. Anyways, go on to Facebook, Instagram, that other letter one, the tweeting of the tweeters and stuff, and check in, let your friends know that you're here, and encourage them to come join us or even just join us online. That'd be great. Another couple of housekeeping things. There's some sign-up sheets on your tables. If you can fill those out for us, it just helps us keep track of how many people show up, and we can connect with you and stuff like that, so that'd be great. I'm going to also encourage you to enjoy our sponsors. Today we are going to highlight one of them, but this is the list of our sponsors there. Let me go to my next page. I don't want to mess up their tagline because I don't even know what Twitter stands for anymore. All right, so we're actually gonna highlight Access Plus Capital, and so Access Plus Capital's mission is to eliminate barriers to economic success through fair and equitable community investment. So we're really grateful for Access Plus Capital and all of our other sponsors. So you know what? Let's give it up for our sponsors, huh? Let's get it up. Yeah. Thank you. All right, so we have a few minutes here. We want you guys to connect at your tables. So we've got a couple of questions for you that we're going to have up here. We'd like for you to kind of just spend a couple of minutes chatting with each other and asking each other this question or answering these questions. What's a local place you love that people should know about? And the other question is, share a meaningful memory from your childhood involving playing or watching sports. What made that moment stand out for you? So where's a location that no one knows about? I know you don't want to share it because then everybody's going to go there and there's going to be longer lines. I get it. Chin's International, that's my jam. But I love that place. But yeah, share your little spots and then also tell us some about your sports meaningful memories. That's awesome. So have some conversation. I'll come back up and interrupt you. All right, enjoy. We're going to now move on. I'm going to invite the mayor on up, Mayor Susan Wallen, and she's going to introduce our speaker for this morning. So she's coming up right now. Hey, let's give it up for our mayor, yeah? Come on up. Yeah. Sorry, Mayor. I know you don't like that. Just cover your face.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here with you this morning. Great to have you here. Thank you all for being here today. I'm so excited to be introducing our Community and Economic Development Department Director, Jessica Hill, she's going to give a presentation on our proposed stadium and plans for the United Soccer League. This has truly been a labor of love that started with residents a few years ago. And through their hard work and dedication of our staff, we're making it happen together. Please join me in welcoming Jessica.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mayor, and thank you for having me here today. This is an exciting topic and an exciting time for the city of Modesto. So what I wanted to do this morning is really go through the history of how did we get to where we are today and really kind of outline kind of the next steps of where the council will make some critical decisions and when we hopefully will have a USL Championship League in Modesto. So as the mayor kind of talked about overall, is this started as a community initiative. And so in 2021, the MLB actually changed their standards. And so what that means is that the local stadium, John Thurman Field, had to have significant upgrades in order to keep a minor league baseball team. And through that, the private sector actually initiated a study to review options to construct a new stadium and was looking at a stadium potentially downtown. So in 2022, Sierra World, which is a consultant, was brought on and completed community listening exercises and an emergent findings report. And what they did as they were looking at bringing a stadium downtown and really looking at developing it for minor league baseball, they realized an entertainment gap here in the city of Modesto, and that was a desire for soccer. So in 2023, the city actually took on the study. We partnered with SEER to continue research for an entertainment district that was anchored by a stadium. And so I want to kind of speak about first an entertainment district overall. And so what that means is it wouldn't necessarily just be a stadium. We wanted to create a district for people to come visit, so live, work, play. And so as the stadium's created, that would be the anchor of it, but we'd also look at developing residential, other commercial opportunities. And so when visitors or residents of Modesto actually came to attend the stadium for various types of events, they would be able to explore these other amenities here with the city as well. And so with the initial report, the Nuts were required to renovate their current facility, as we talked about, and the private sector really led this. I will want to recognize who it was spearheaded by. It was Lynn Dickerson, Dale Boya, and Evan Porges, and that was to develop that Great Valley Coliseum. And so as this report really developed, it was still looking at a baseball stadium downtown, but it also identified baseball, yes, is wanted and needed in Modesto, but there is also an opportunity for soccer. So the entertainment district was initially identified in 3 potential locations. And so we call it the one's over on 7th Street, one was over on D Street, and then one initially that was over off of 6th Street. And so the goal was kind of to also renovate our downtown and look at other opportunities for entertainment options for the residents of Modesto. So in the initial assessment that SEER did, it helped set the overall project narrative for redevelopment and urban planning to help support baseball. And so with that, they also wanted to expand and acknowledge the celebration of the Latino community within Modesto and identify the support for the soccer entertainment options. So as we continue to explore the entertainment gap, we explored different partnerships with soccer. And so we wanted to look at what was the opportunities to partner with the MLS, NextPro, and then the USL. As we explored these different options, USL had a great desire to expand and actually come to Modesto as well. And so that's kind of how we landed with the partnership with the USL. And so on September 10th, 2024, the council really initiated this first step with this partnership with the USL. This first step was the letter of intent. And what this letter of intent meant, and I like to say it means we're exclusively dating, is that the USL wanted to come to Modesto, Modesto wanted the USL to come here, but we still needed more times to look at all of the factors in order for them to come here. And so we needed to ensure that we understood where the potential stadium would go, financing, ownership, design, ancillary development, and pre-development cost overall. So the site requirements and the site design is really kind of that first step that council was really looking at. And I wanted to share with the group to really kind of have the group understand what kind of went into making these decisions. And so for the site requirements overall, it has to be at least 70 yards by 110 yards. It has to have a predominantly north-south access. There are minimum parking requirements. So every location that we looked at, we had to see if we had enough parking specifically for the stadium itself, but also ancillary parking in a proximity to the stadium. And then what we were looking at is a minimum size of 5,000 in order to meet the USL league that we were looking to solidify. So as we were looking, we looked at specific sites. These were all sites that were presented to the council to really determine what would be the best fit for bringing USL to Modesto. So the first site evaluation was downtown North. This was really portion of the existing Center Plaza, some adjacent blocks. Some of the highlights and some of the pros of this location was hotels, parking garages, close to necessary infrastructure, and already developed ancillary development where people could actually visit and go to as a destination in downtown Modesto. The next one that we looked at was downtown South. So downtown south of what we talked about was between D and F Street and 10th and 12th. It was chosen because a way to revitalize that part of downtown Modesto. It was an opportunity there for more mixed-use developments, businesses, and housing. But as the council looked at the three options that this was presented, they actually decided to start looking at these other two and this third one that I'll be going through today and not proceed with downtown South. Last up was West Modesto. West Modesto is in regards to the Municipal Golf Course. And so the Municipal Golf Course is 54 acres. It was actually closed in early 2020. And since that period of time, the city had been working very closely with the community and very closely internally to determine what the Municipal Golf Course could be redeveloped as. From the community, we heard a lot of feedback. Some of the feedback was ensuring we had affordable housing, ensuring we had all types of housing. They were looking for commercial and then a variety of open space as well. So as we looked at West Modesto for a potential stadium, again, it's a big area. It's 54 acres. It is city-owned, so that was another positive. But it also offered the opportunity to build not just a stadium, but a lot of that ancillary development that we heard from the community as well. So the council held a variety of workshops, and so I wanted to continue to explain all of the history of this so the community understands the thoughts and process that went into it from the council and the amount of information that the council really reviewed to make their recommendation of where we are today. So on March 26th, we were able to explain to council a comprehensive update regarding the city's exploration. And what this did is we went through those three options, and the council said, hey, I really want to narrow down to the two. So I'd really like to look closer at downtown North, which was anchored by the Modesto Center Plaza, as well as the Municipal Golf Course. In June 25th, we met again, and the goal was then not only to just look at those two locations, but how could those two locations work together, and what would the fiscal impact be if we looked at those two locations instead of particularly just one. And so since that period of time, we did hold a couple of community workshops. I do want to highlight that and just kind of give some of the community feedback that we did hear. And so some of the feedback for downtown Modesto is everyone was really looking at downtown Modesto with the ability of how can we continue to activate our downtown and bring more people downtown. And so as you can see downtown, we have a lot of great resources downtown. We have a lot of great amenities, but there's also some opportunity to continue to bring more amenities and to continue to activate downtown both later in the evenings as well as on the weekends as well. They thought some more opportunities, again, was a multi-purpose venue, so not just holding soccer there, but also having concerts, conventions, and a tourism driver. Some of the key things that the community thought at that point was limited design constraints and expansion, lighting noise issues, and then it would have a smaller footprint than what potentially could be at the Municipal Golf Course. Other community feedback that we had regarding West Modesto is some of the pros and kind of what we talked about. It's 54 acres, it's city-owned, it's development-ready. It would be a high-impact opportunity. You know, we've heard from West Modesto that they were looking for different sorts of amenities that they don't currently have. And so that was a desire to redevelop in order to ensure we can bring those much-needed amenities there. They would have opportunities to connect to the Tuolumne River, and then would also have ensuring that we had room for retail, housing, and recreation. Some drawbacks and some things that the community wanted council to consider: freeway access, safety concerns, infrastructure upgrades, and really looking at environmental concerns and the return on investment. And so ensuring that when council decides on where the potential stadium goes, that it could be something that could be activated at all times and people would actually want to go to. And so people from Modesto to go to as another entertainment option, as well as visitors to actually come into Modesto and actually support local Modesto businesses. So when we went back to council again, and we went back to them in August, and we explored the locations of what it would look like if we had something downtown and what it would look like if we had something at the Municipal Golf Course. And so this is a rendering before you today. This is focused in downtown, specifically on the Modesto Center Plaza. Some things that I do want to point out. Again, this is not necessarily just a stadium, and so it also includes our stadium support and back of house, so needed for the stadium. But it also includes 133 multifamily residential. It includes a new parking garage, again, to assist with the parking impacts that we currently have in downtown, as well as anticipate the need as we create another amenity downtown. Included some commercial space, some office space, some single family attached there on the periphery of the actual stadium itself. And one of the biggest things that we heard loud and clear from both our council and the community is it has the ability to actually have a conference center as well. And so I'm sure one of the big, large questions in the room is if it's at this site, that means the Center Plaza will no longer be at this site. And so that was an important consideration by the council. The council understands the community wants and needs of that, but they also understood that the Center Plaza, as the way it is today, was actually being supplemented by the general fund by $1 million each year. And so recognizing the need, but recognizing the current model didn't work, we wanted to ensure that a conference center was built as part of the stadium, and so we still had that much needed resource for our community and to hold different events here anchored by Modesto. As we moved on to the Municipal Golf Course itself, one of the big things that we heard loud and clear from the community and loud and clear from our council is when looking at bringing soccer to Modesto, we wanted to still ensure that we had baseball in Modesto as well. So one of the big things I want to point out is John Thurman Field is still there, and it's also being supported now by the Pioneer League. So I don't know if everyone's up to date there, but the Pioneer League is currently determining what their team name for Modesto will be as well. So baseball will live on in Modesto. Other things for the Municipal Golf Course is we really are highlighting the practice fields. And so as part of us as downtown stadium, we need to have practice fields for the USL players. What these practice fields will also duplicate for the city of Modesto is with youth sports. And so we see every single weekend that Mary Rogan Park is fully booked out. And as we reach out to our partners at the Modesto Youth Soccer Association, MYSA, there is a need and gap for more fields as well. And so they have a demand higher than the supply of amount of fields we currently have in Modesto. Some other key things that we wanted to make sure that we had in this general area, hearing the community loud and clear, is we had many mixed-use developments. So the mixed-use developments means that it's commercial down on the ground floor, and the commercial that we heard and we wanted is fresh groceries. And so wanted to ensure that we had something there that the local community members could go to. It would be topped with some multifamily residential, as well as a hotel and different commercial opportunities. So on August 5th, the City Council, as they looked through those same two renderings I went forward with you guys today, they actually chose both locations. And so they chose, let's go ahead and move forward with next steps for downtown, and let's go ahead and look at the redevelopment of the Municipal Golf Course. And so you can see it side by side, the two renderings that I talked about just earlier. And what this would mean is we could activate West Modesto, and we can also activate our downtown. And so this complementary use of both of these activities would actually maximize the impact of bringing the USL to Modesto and create more entertainment options and amenities for both residents, businesses, and visitors of Modesto. So everyone's probably wondering, okay, now what? What are the next steps? And so council made it very loud and clear is that they were looking for the first step we had to do was a site selection. So until we had a site selection, we couldn't start initiating all the other studies we needed to go through. And so the renderings before you would need now to be done by the market demand analysis. And so we would have to ensure that we go through a full master planning to really solidify how many units of what, how much square foot commercial of what, a hotel here or there, how many single family residential, how big do we need our conference center to be? And so that's really that first step in what we're going to do in order to help ensure that we answer the elephant in the room. How will this be funded? And so I do want to let you know, council gave staff very strict instructions to make sure that we looked at every potential funding source available. And so just kind of an overview, we're looking at a private-public partnership. And so everyone's very concerned, well, will the city fund a new stadium, or will the city fund 100% of the new stadium? And that's not the answers to the questions at this time. The answers are the city is actually looking at a partnership with the state of California and grants from the state of California. The city is looking for infrastructure funding, specifically from the federal government as well. The city is also looking from a private-public partnership. And so this study was originally initiated by the private partners looking to help renovate and bring more life to our downtown. And so we do anticipate that there will be private funding as well. And then we also anticipate that we are anticipating actually the amount of revenue that could potentially be generated for this entertainment district overall that could then help pay for the building of it overall. So those are the key next steps. I do want to run through what the rest of the steps will be following that. So following the financial due diligence, this will then go back to council for them to understand what is going to be potentially built, what the financing would be, for us to then begin procurement and finalize financing and launch construction in probably mid to end of 2026 through 2028. Our goal at this time and our partnership with the USL is, fingers crossed, to have the USL actually come to the city of Modesto for their season starting in 2028. So it is a very, very strict timeline. There's a lot of work still to do. I don't have all the answers today, but I do commit that staff is continuing to work diligently and working with our partners now at the USL and working with our consultant, Sear World, to really determine these next steps. I really think this is an exciting time for the city of Modesto. One of the goals of the council, one of the priorities for staff and the council have set, was to really continue to look for entertainment options for Modesto. And so we've heard this loud and clear. We've determined a gap for soccer, and we're very excited to have this partnership with the USL and bring another entertainment amenity to the businesses, residents, and visitors of Modesto. So with that, I want to thank you so much for having me here today. And I'll go ahead and ask Mike if there's any questions from the audience.
I want to give you an opportunity to, if you've got something burning on your mind, you want to be able to ask. If you wouldn't mind raising your hand, and I'll come to you.
Could you go back over the parking for the downtown project?
Absolutely. I'm going to try to, that's not as zoomed in as much, but I can speak to it. So, I'll kind of talk overall. So as part of the initial assessment, what we did is really take an inventory of the public parking that we had in downtown Modesto currently. And so we looked at every public lot that was actually a parking garage or a surface lot to determine how much parking we had within a 1 mile radius of the stadium. And this is all part of the USL standards overall. What the downtown proposal also encompasses is they encompass a new parking garage, which would create another 447 stalls. And so in the analysis, in our current one, we didn't technically, by USL standards, have enough parking. But what we recognize in our downtown is really the need to help to add more as well, especially with the new courthouse coming downtown. And so the downtown proposal does include a new parking garage. I think the city overall is also ensuring that we're maximizing the current parking we have and how to best utilize it. And so this is on the forefront of staff's mind to ensure that as we bring more entertainment options, we do have the sufficient parking for them as well.
Great question.
Is additional parking included in the West Modesto site?
Yeah, yes, it is. I'll go ahead and go to the next one for the West Modesto site. And I'm sorry about those renderings. And so the renderings actually If you can look and you can see it broadly, but all of the dark yellow is considered new multifamily units or mixed-use housing. What is wrapped around is the gray, and so those are proposed new parking garages, which would add an additional 1,200 parking stalls. And so recognizing that as we fully develop the municipal golf course and the parking that we anticipate both from baseball and now from soccer, we do recognize the need in adding parking at that location as well.
Just to follow up, have you identified a location for the potential parking for downtown?
So for the potential parking for downtown, and this is, I will say, all initial renderings. And so we need to go through the full master planning to decide where the parking would potentially be. I am going to go back one. So the parking would actually be adjacent to the stadium. The stadium itself, if you can see, this area that's connected by a thin white line is the current 10th Street parking garage. And so if you look, on the other side of where the potential stadium would be, that gray area that's wrapped around by that dark yellow would be potentially the new parking garage.
I just thought it's really important to mention that the USL wants to bring a men and a women's team to Modesto, as well as a youth academy, which is where the at Muni would be. And as far as parking, the beauty of this is it's right across from our transit station. Also, with the train, buses, there'll be all sorts of alternative ways for people to get to the stadium from the Bay Area, from Southern California, from Sacramento. They can be right there and walk across the street without needing a car.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Just on the West Modesto site, neighbors have been pretty clear that they want access to green space. So with the consideration that we also saw about the issue of security and that kind of thing, will the neighbors have access to green space on that model, or will it all be fenced in? Would you know?
So we've heard kind of the neighbors say loud and clear green space as well. So the amount of fencing and what would potentially be fenced is not determined yet at this time, but I will say some of the things that we've recognized. And so you can see that all of the trees that are outlined on this rendering or many of them are existing trees over at the Municipal Golf Course. And so we wanted to ensure that as we look at redevelopment, we're also including many of the mature trees to actually stay there and be part of the future development. And so we did hear loud and clear the green space. A lot of the neighbors in the community are actually using that as a walking path. And so that is part of the factors as we go into this master planning stage.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Tony, I think your hand was, I'm sorry, Tony's hand was up first.
Oh, I really want to grab the mic. I'm kidding. So, I wanted to ask, is e-bikes or e-scooters part of the planning for this? And if not, just want to put a plug in for that. Suggest that the council consider implementing e-bikes and e-scooters. For those that have memory of this issue, take a second bite at the apple. I hope that back then the council rejected it, citing concerns that, the conditions of our streets aren't good enough to be, riding around on a e-scooter, electric scooter and whatnot. But I hope it's gotten better, so put in that plug. And then, if we have a small batch of scooters, by the time the stadium comes, then that existing company can expand its footprint. Hint, hint.
Well, thank you. So as part of, it was actually brought up by PD as we're going through this initial phases. And so they're not only thinking we're going to have to make decisions on scooters, but we're going to have to make decisions on all alternative forms of transportation. And so scooters, e-bikes, we call them like rickshaw, but people like riding the bikes to carry people to and from things. And all of those are on the table to be analyzed by staff to determine if that's something that we need to create kind of parameters around to support a future stadium.
Awesome. Hey, can we give it up to Jessica? Go ahead. Sorry. Nice job.
Thank you.
I do have one question for you. So here at CMN, we believe lasting community change happens when people and organizations come together for the good of everyone. So in that, how do you feel that this project reflects that vision for Modesto?
Thanks, John. So, I mean, this is a catalytic project that will really help transform downtown Modesto. And I'm really excited to be part of this project, and I think it's a huge opportunity to not only bring men's and women's soccer, it's a huge opportunity to have other sorts of events there as well. So concerts, school events, farmers markets, all of these are on the table to continue to activate, to bring our downtown more of a live, work, play environment.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Give it up one more time for Jessica, please. Great job. I'm going to actually transition. Chad, if you can come on up, I'd like to invite you on up. We've got a few announcements for you guys. So Chad's going to take about 60 seconds to explain a little something he's got going on.
Well, first, I just want to say that I'm excited for the community of West Modesto and what it will do for property values and just to lift that neighborhood. I think that's really cool. I'm here today wearing one of my many hats. I've been asked to chair the committee for the giving machines in Modesto. Giving machines are back. We will be at Vintage Fair Mall from November 21st through the 12th of December. I've got flyers in the back to share information about our ribbon cutting ceremony, and also just to tell you a little bit about what the giving machines have and who our nonprofits are that are included. This year, we're featuring five local nonprofits: World Relief, West Modesto Community Collaborative, Family Promise, Catholic Charities, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Stanislaus County. The giving machines are an opportunity for the public to come to the machines and make a tax-deductible contribution, 100% tax-deductible contribution to local nonprofits and support all the good that these organizations are doing in our community. Please help us make sure that we are well attended and that people in our community are generous to help us make sure that we can support great things that are happening with nonprofit organizations here. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chad, so much. I'm going to invite David Collins on up, too. He's going to talk a little bit about next month's topic for Catalyst. So come on up, David.
Thank you, John. I did not win trivia. I did come in third, so congratulations to our winners. Great job, everyone. Can we thank Jessica again one more time for her excellent presentation? It was very direct, very clear. I guarantee this is before the normal start of her workday, so thank you for being here crazy early as well. Next month, so it's going to be December, we are going to take a fun, lighthearted, but very practical look at mental health self-care, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. So as we enter into the holiday season, you're going to walk away with some new skills, a brighter outlook, and definitely a smile on your face. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. Bring someone you know could benefit from that. Bring a loved one, bring a friend, and we'll see you in December for that.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you. Give it up for David. All right, we have a few more announcements for you. I got some slides up here for you. I'm going to give a selfless plug. We have the Latino Leadership Initiative that's coming up soon. The signups end on the 21st of this month. So if you know anybody that wants to engage in leadership and grow in their leadership, please scan that QR code, take a picture of that. I know it says Latino Leadership Initiative. You do not have to be Latino to be a part. We firmly believe that if you're going to be a leader in our community, you're going to lead Latinos. And it's good to know and be situational in your leadership and know how Latinos are led as well and encourage them as they come behind you to promote them as leaders as well. So we'd love to, I'd love, because that's me, I'd love to connect with you, ask more questions. I'm here. I'll be back there somewhere. Please reach out, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. One more, announcement. So we know that there's a bit of a food thing going on, right, in our communities. So we wanted to make sure that you have access to where food can be found. So this QR code will get you to I think, Stan County 211. It gives you an idea of where you can actually get food. So if you know people that are need more food support, you could do it that way. And I'm going to ask her to the next slide. I will say our friends at the Stanislaus Community Foundation, they reached out to us actually yesterday. They'd given money to a bunch of these different food banks and stuff to get them shored up. They burn through that money. This is a need that we really need to address. I mean, within a 24-hour period, we were then asked, hey, can you get this out to churches, to the people in their community? Can they be helpful to their churches, to these local banks, local food banks? So here's 2 opportunities as well that you could come alongside and help. So if you have food that you'd like to donate, there's a spot there on the left that you can go to. If you wanted to give a financial donation, you can look on the right there. That's the way to do that. It's unfortunate. This is a thing that we're going through. And so if we as a community can band together and work together and help our people, I think that's an amazing thing. So just wanted to didn't want to bring down the room. I apologize, but this is a need that we need to address. So as a community, we can do that. And I know you guys all have the hearts for this and the bandwidth for this kind of stuff. So I appreciate your time in that. I'm going to invite Marvin on up, and he's going to give us our closing thoughts and end us in prayer. So coming up, Marvin.
Hey, John, can you hand the mic to Jessica? Where are you, Jessica?
Yes,
I have
absolutely.
another question for Jessica.
Yep.
So appreciate Chad's comment on the West Modesto site, because you are going to increase property values, so that's true. On the other hand, what conversation has there been about gentrification in that neighborhood as well? And the fact that property values are going to increase, which is, for a lot of families, it's wonderful. On the other hand, they're going to get priced out of the neighborhood. So what is that conversation? I think you've... Go ahead.
Yeah, so it has been something that we've continued to look into to see how we can continue to, protect the housing we have as well as add to the housing. I know one of the biggest factors of what's raising the housing costs is because there's not enough supply to support the demand. And so what we're really trying to do is trying to make sure that we have enough supply here in the city of Modesto to meet what the demands are, really keeping in the mind the thoughts and the supporting our local homeowners as well as our local renters in that area. So
I knew there was conversation, but I didn't want to say that out loud, because there's a lot of families just are going to get bumped out of there. So if that all happens. So one thing is, thank you, Jessica. Just again, we're all aware of just the challenges that go with decisions. I get to be with my old friend, because he's way older than me, John Britton. We meet once a month. He's in the back. We meet once a month for breakfast. Old, probably get up at 5 in the morning and have breakfast together. But one of the things that I'm excited about, and I know as a much more seasoned adult, that the way you stay young is you stay curious. And so whatever reason we were talking about, I brought up this whole idea of, can you imagine, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when all the canals and the MIDs and the OIDs and the TIDs, just somebody probably on some restaurant somewhere said, hey, here's this napkin. What do you think about this if we created these canals for water and all that kind of thing? Because it transformed our valley. Good or bad, the truth of it is that I would have loved to have been in that room. And so you get a chance to be early on in these stages of conversations around stadiums and green areas and all that kind of thing. So I want to encourage you to give your voice to those kind of things. And again, I want to encourage you, because this is my style. Don't be screaming and hollering and calling names and all that. Well, there's some spaces to do that, and I'm confident that sometimes those things work. But anyway, you're not that kind of advocate. So for most of you, so I got myself in a hole. So I'm just going to move right on for that one. But I do want to encourage you. You give yourself a voice and make sure that you're a part of that. Mother Teresa, who passed away quite some time ago, said to us tells us that if we have no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to each other, that we've forgotten that we've belonged to each other. And we're in a season where let's remember that we belong to each other. We had our community and the Stanislaus Community Foundation led this with some of their partners to give over $300,000 to family resource centers, and that was gone in a matter of a handful of days because of the deep need now of what's happening with SNAP and some other programs for a lot of different reasons. So I want to encourage you with this. If you can participate, one thing that I know about all of you and all of us is that we are a loving, caring community. We surely have our moments, because we surely do. But the truth of it is, more often than not, we're a great group of community. So you can get a hold of Stanislaus Community Foundation if you want to participate that way. They're encouraging us to get involved with the food banks. We've been outreaching to some congregations who possibly could participate in the need. We belong to each other. We belong to each other. Had coffee yesterday with a young gal who runs a nonprofit. We met on Starbucks on 800 Oakdale Road. Doesn't really matter, but we were there. And she remembers me telling a story, but a story of a man who, his name is Joe, and he's got a friend who fell into a hole. Big old hole. And so this friend is stuck in a hole and he can't get out. And so a pastor comes by, writes him a prayer, tosses it in the hole and keeps on walking. No criticism of pastors, but, you know. Next one is a doctor walks by, writes him a prescription, throws the paper into the hole, and then continues to move on. Joe walks by, sees his friend in this hole, and lo and behold, crazy Joe jumps into the hole with his friend. And the friend says, Joe, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Are you stupid? Now we're both stuck in this hole. And Joe says, no, I've been in this hole before, and I know how to get out. And that's a story for all of us. I was ready to tell you that, remember that we're all responsible for each other, but as I was here, I was reminded, no, you're the kind of people that you all know that you belong to each other, and you've not forgotten. And so in your circles of leadership, let's remember and remind each other that we belong to each other. Whether you're pink or brown or purple or pink, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're this or that as human beings, we all belong to each other, which means we take care of each other and watch out for each other. The difference is we'll work those things out. I'm responsible to love. I'm not called to judge people. Now, I don't know where you stand. Candidly, I don't care. I'm going to care about people. And so I want to say to you, let's continue to remember that we belong to each other. You're all amazing people, so I'm sure you're with me on that. But let's remember that we belong to each other. And whatever that means, whether given to the food banks or finances or going to your circle of influences, because all of you are leaders of leaders, and saying, hey, we got to do something. Let's get on with this thing and take care of each other until things can get better. I know I can say these things to you, so I'm going to go ahead and thank God for us and hang around the room. We all belong to each other, and I want to celebrate you. So, Lord, thank you for the time you give us to be together, for the city, for their leadership, for Jessica and her continued enthusiasm and leadership of all this project. For the mayor, thank you for the incredible human being that she is, for each one that's here, for those families in our community that are surely struggling. Well, all these decisions that need to be made, none of them are easy. And so may we continue to participate, pitch in with our voices, our influence, to do the best thing for each other, because we belong to each other. And sometimes, Lord, I know with the mess that we can be in, sometimes it's because we forget that we really do belong to each other. May we love each other. In Christ's name, amen. See you later.